Hey Modern Band. So we're looking at the E major chord right now. And for the E major chord, it has three open strings, and then we use our first, second, and third fingers on three different strings. So we've got open starting from string number one, we've got open, and then open again, and then the first fret on string number three. And then the next two strings are both going to be second fret, and it's going to be third finger and then second finger. So second finger will be here on string 5. Third finger will be here on string 4. And then first finger will be here on string 3. So it makes like, a standard guitar triangle. We've got 3 fingers here. So check that shape again. Make sure you've got an open low E string with no buzzing or muting. And then your A string is second fret, second finger. So your middle finger on the second fret. And then your D is your third finger, your ring finger on the second fret. And then your G is your first finger on the first fret. So it looks like, from your point of view, looks like that. First finger, first fret of the G, second finger, second fret of the A, and then your third finger, second fret of the D. Check them each one at a time. No buzzing, no muting. If you do have buzzing or muting, remember, that's a sign that your finger's either in the wrong place or you're not pressing down quite hard enough. And because this chord has no muted strings, no omitted strings, you can take your thumb and put it behind the neck of the guitar to act as a brace. Right? And so depending on what your technique and what your position is, this can be okay for your thumb and this can be okay for your thumb, but you don't want your thumb to be, like that, right? So you think about how you're gripping something. Find that position, check each finger individually. Now we're going to strum. And reminders about strumming, we want to have our guitar neck that's a higher angle than parallel to the floor, parallel or higher. We don't want it to be lower than the body of the guitar. We want the position of our guitar to be perpendicular to the floor or slightly leaning back toward us so we can see the strings. We don't want it to be laying flat. We want to be sitting up straight. We can look down at the guitar, but don't hunch over the guitar. And then our right arm should be resting here to where our elbow does most of the motion. Okay, strum with me and stay in tempo. Here's our beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So we're going to go through and we're going to strum for 4. Then we're going to take our hand off and just play open strings for 4. Then we'll put our hand back on. So it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, open. Okay, so that gives us an idea, and that practice is moving our hands off of the strings and then coming right back onto the strings and being in the right position each time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Open. Good. Now that's practicing all of your fingers together. This time we're only going to move one finger, and it's going to be our index finger. Interestingly, the E major chord turns into the E minor chord when we remove one finger. And most chords are that way where by changing one note, we can get a different chord. So in this case, our second and third fingers stay exactly where they are, and all I do is I lift my first finger up just a little bit. Don't do that with it. Don't do that with it. Just lift it up a tiny bit so we get the difference between this chord and this chord. Major chords sound bright, hopeful, happy, joyful. Minor chords sound sad, mysterious, dark, or brooding. Major, minor. So we can go back and forth. E major, E minor. And that's our difference between major and minors, that sort of sound there. So we're going to do 4 beats of E major and then 4 beats of E minor. Find your E major position. 1, 2, ready, go. E minor, E major, and you're just practicing a tiny motion, E minor, tiny motion in your first finger. E minor, and let's end on E major, nice happy note. So keep practicing your E major chord. It's going to be a really common chord. You'll use it a lot in guitar. And practice that slight change from just changing one finger. That's good practice for all of the other chords where you'll just have to move one finger at a time and not your entire hand.